How's it going? Grant here, and welcome back to another camera comparisons video. Today I've got the OnePlus 5 and the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, two of the best smartphones on the market today, with some of the best cameras that you can buy on a smartphone on the market today. And I've done a few camera comparison videos with the Galaxy S8 Plus, and we all know it's a very good set of cameras. Can the OnePlus 5 compete? As we all know, OnePlus has been heavily marketing the cameras on the OnePlus 5, especially that dual camera setup on the rear. So we'll find out how it compares to the Galaxy S8 Plus. Maybe you want to spend your money on the Galaxy S8 Plus or save a few bucks and pick up the OnePlus 5. But either way, if cameras are at the top of your list when buying a smartphone, hopefully this video will help, because as usual, I'll show you a bunch of photos and videos in both good light and low light so you can judge for yourself. And with that, let's get on with the rest of the video. So here's a quick clip to test the stabilization on the front-facing cameras. So if you like using the front-facing camera to shoot video on the go, or if you want to try to vlog with any of these cameras, this is what you can expect as far as stabilization on each device. Hey everyone, so here we go. It's a beautiful day in the park. It's mid-70s out here, and as you can see, not a cloud in the sky, so a beautiful day with a beautiful big blue sky there. Perfect for testing out the cameras on the Galaxy S8 Plus and OnePlus 5. We can even do a quick focus test. I'll just drop in an object here. See how it focuses in. Take it away. Bring it back in there. See how they both are focusing. So they both seem to be doing pretty well there. We test out the zoom. Here is the OnePlus 5 2x optical zoom. I'll zoom into 2x digitally with the Galaxy S8 Plus, so you can see what they both look like at 2x zoom. I'll zoom in all the way with the OnePlus 5 at an 8x digital zoom. A little shaky and not quite as in focus maybe. Slowly zoom out so you can see how it looks at different zoom levels. And I'll zoom in all the way with the Galaxy S8 Plus. So it's a lot more stable, it looks like. Also an 8x digital zoom here. We'll zoom it back out. And we can even do a stabilization test here. So the OnePlus 5 has electronic stabilization, as well does the Galaxy S8 Plus. So you can see how they're both doing here as we just stroll through the park on this beautiful day here. So hopefully this gives you an idea of what the stabilization looks like and the quality looks like on each of these phones. And here we go with the same test, this time at 1080p 60 frames per second. Give you an idea of how smooth the video might be compared to 30 frames per second as we pan around here. Again, beautiful blue skies there. And we can test the zoom to see if there's any difference here at 60 frames per second. And that is at 2x zoom on each. OnePlus 5 is optically zoomed in with that telephoto lens. And we'll go 8x zoom here on the OnePlus 5. Zoom back out, and we'll go zoom in all the way with the iPhone 7 Plus, or Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, sorry. And we'll zoom it back out. And we can even do another stabilization test at 60 frames per second here. See if you notice any differences between the two devices, as well as what do you think of it at 60 frames versus 30. So that's just a quick test at 1080p 60 frames per second on each phone. And here we go with one last clip in 4K from the rear-facing cameras from each. Give it a good shot at what this looks like in UHD 4K on each device, especially that nice crisp blue sky there. In the viewfinder, the Samsung looks like it's saturating the sky more, but I've taken videos on the Galaxy S8 Plus, and when you offload them, it's not as saturated. So you tell me what it looks like now that it's been exported. But again, we'll do a zoom test in 4K. So that's 2x optical on the OnePlus 5 and 2x digital on the Galaxy S8 Plus. We'll zoom in all the way on the OnePlus 5, 8x digital zoom at 4K. Slowly zoom it back out. And we'll zoom in all the way with the S8 Plus. Again, 8x digital zoom there as well. Looks a little more grainy here at 4K, but it's definitely sharper. And that's probably why it's more grainy, at least in the viewfinder. Slowly zoom that back out and check the quality as it at different zoom levels. And we can do a stabilization test at 4K. And again, this is before the update to the OnePlus 5 that brings electronic stabilization at 4K. So just to give you an idea of what it looked like before the update here. And you can compare that to the stabilization on the Galaxy S8 Plus. Again, both being shot at 4K here on this beautiful day in the park. Hey everyone, so I've managed to update the OnePlus 5 with the update that brings electronic image stabilization to 4K recordings. So I'm just going to try to reshoot this scene here in the park with stabilization at 4K, at the same time comparing it to the stabilization at 4K in the Galaxy S8 Plus. So I'll just pan around here so you can see what this looks like. And we'll also go ahead and test the zoom again, just to see if we see any improvement in stabilization there. And that is 2 times optical zoom on the OnePlus 5 and 2 times digital zoom on the Galaxy S8 Plus. We'll zoom in all the way to an 8 times digital zoom now on the OnePlus 5. And this is actually looking a little clearer and a little steadier to me. We'll zoom back out and we'll zoom in all the way on the Galaxy S8 Plus for comparison. Zoom back out there. And we'll go ahead and test the stabilization. I'll walk down the stairs here. So these should both be stabilized at 4K now. So hopefully this gives you a good feel for what improvements have been made here on the OnePlus 5 and 4K recording as far as stabilization goes. And hopefully you can see a good comparison here against the Galaxy S8 Plus in both picture quality as well as stabilization. Let me know what you think. Okay everyone, so here is a low light sample from the front facing camera on the OnePlus 5 and the Galaxy S8 Plus. Just want to pan around here so you can see how it does in some of the changing lighting conditions. And it is just after sunset. Hopefully you can see that back there if it'll focus up the sky and not blow that out. And so I just wanted to give you a quick sample clip to show you what the front facing camera on each of these phones look like in some low light. I'll even do a little bit of walking here so you can judge the stabilization on each of the front facing cameras here. in case you want to use this in some low light to take some video. This is about what you can expect from the camera as well as from the stabilization. And here's another low light sample clip from the front facing camera. This time I put the Galaxy S8 Plus into 1440p or Quad HD mode. So since the Galaxy S8 Plus can shoot at a higher resolution, I just wanted to show you what that looks like against the 1080p of the OnePlus 5 here, just in case you were wondering. And again, I can pan around a little bit. And we can even do a little bit of stabilization test as well to see if there's any difference with the Galaxy S8 Plus in 1440p. And here's some low light footage from the rear facing cameras from the Galaxy S8 Plus and OnePlus 5. You can pan around a little bit so you can see what it looks like here. And just in the viewfinder, the S8 Plus looks pretty grainy, but that could change once it's exported and off the phone. So let me know what you think of the footage now that it's been exported. We'll shot that light to see if we get any kind of lens flaring. And lastly, we'll do a little bit of stabilization test. I'm just going to walk with each of the phones here to give you a better idea of what these look like and how they're stabilized in low light. And here we are with a low light test in 1080p 60 frames per second. So I just want to give you a feel for what 60 frames per second looks like as I pan around here. We can go up to that bright light again. But at least in the viewfinder, the OnePlus 5 is definitely darker than it was at 30 frames per second, and it looks like it's focus hunting around a little bit more. But you let me know, because that always can change once the footage is exported. And the S8 Plus just kind of did a little bit of focus hunting there as well. So here's a little bit of stabilization test as I walk with each of these to give you a feel of what each of the stabilization might look like here. And lastly, here we go at 4K in low light on each of the phones. We'll pan around, and again, at least in the viewfinder, the S8 Plus is looking grainier than the OnePlus 5, but the OnePlus 5 is looking a little bit darker. Hopefully it looks better once the video is exported as far as what you're seeing right now. And again, we'll do a stabilization test, and again, this is before the OnePlus 5 update to provide electronic stabilization at 4K. Just wanted to give you a feel for what that looks like before the update. Okay, so I've just applied the update to the OnePlus 5 that brings electronic image stabilization at 4K. So I just want to do a quick test here in low light. So I'll just walk down the sidewalk here so I can see if you see any noticeable difference in stabilization at 4K on the OnePlus 5 and compare it here to the 4K stabilization on the Galaxy S8 Plus. I'll pan around as I walk as well so I can get a better feel for stabilization while walking as well as panning around. And so I shot some footage earlier on the OnePlus 5 at 4K without the update, so hopefully this gives you a better idea of the kind of stabilization that the update has brought to 4K recording. So that's it. I just wanted to do a quick test here in low light on that new EIS stabilization on the OnePlus 5 in 4K.